Jesse Vargas will be at 156. Undefeated Jesse Vargas has tasted only success in boxing, except when it comes to finding some consistency in his corner. Now with his 5th trainer in just 7 years, Vargas hopes that he has begun a more lasting partnership.
I went professional at the age of 19. I have 26 fights now. I started off with Roger Mayweather. It took me a couple trainers to get comfortable with who I felt better with. So I was with the great Roy Jones, but he wasn't able to invest as much time in my training camp. And with this being such an important fight, I felt that I needed someone there on a daily basis, and that's when I brought in Eric Morales.
Jesse Vargas called me 5 weeks before the fight. The trainers, I believe, didn't believe in him, didn't believe in his project. Went to Las Vegas. I started to see what he was doing. We worked in different things in the ring, in the camp. We worked on his confidence. That's the most important thing that we worked on.
I was always a fan of Eric Morales as a kid. He was so aggressive, and then at times he was able just to back off and be intelligent and stick to his game plan. And they will see a little bit of me trying some Eric Morales moves. It was a Jesse Vargas training camp to an Eric Morales style training camp. And you're gonna see all the hard work pay off this Saturday night.
Jesse Vargas has had barely 1 month in company with Eric Morales. Max Kellerman, we talked a lot with Roy Jones about what he was trying to do with Jesse Vargas. Morales is looking for something slightly different, right?
Yeah, well, Jesse told us yesterday, Roy Jones, and it's characteristic of Roy's style, wanted him to fight a little more off the back foot, more in a relaxed rhythm. And Eric Morales, he said, has him fighting a little more to what he calls, and what we all know to be now, a Mexican style. Triple G has popularized the phrase. And he said that Eric Morales says it's important to show who wants it more. Certainly when Morales fought, he usually showed that he wanted it more.
Vargas featuring Mexican music as he enters with his Mexican trainer, Tijuana's Eric Morales. Vargas, who is obviously of Mexican-American heritage, lives in Las Vegas. Noteworthy wins for Vargas. He's had a couple of decisions recently against Russians Khabib Alakverdiev and Anton Novikov, both of them in Las Vegas. Both were regarded as fights which could have gone either way. He got the benefit of the doubt. Same thing happened a few years ago against Josecito Lopez. And now, here comes Timothy Bradley. And Andre Ward, when you consider the opponent list against which Timothy Bradley has been matched over the years, and you consider that he does not have significant punching power, it's pretty amazing what he's accomplished, right?
Yeah, I think today we overemphasize sometimes punching power and knockouts. They're great to see. But if you're a true boxing fan, you appreciate it all. And if you love boxing, or if you watch boxing even casually, you got to appreciate a guy like Timothy Bradley. He's all heart. Sometimes he's undersized, but he gets in there and he makes it happen.
And it's that competitive muscle, Max, which, as you said, sets him apart.
I mean, on the way up, what was the difference between him and Kendall Holt, murderous puncher, or Lamont Peterson, or Junior Witter? Was he more talented than those guys? He just wanted it more. And so he picked himself up off the deck on the road and beat those guys all decisively. That was on the way up before he even fought the Marquezes and Pacquiaos of the world.
Timothy Bradley versus Jesse Vargas. Let's go to ring announcer Lupe Contreras for the official introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the StubHub Center, we continue with the action. It is HBO's World Championship Boxing, proudly presented to you by Bob Arum's Top Rank Incorporated, along with La Cerveza Tecate con Carácter. This bout, scheduled for a distance of 12 rounds or less for the interim WBO Welterweight World Championship. President Francisco Paco Valcárcel. Supervisor Richard DeCure. The three judges are Kermit Bayless, Max DeLuca, and Rocky Young. In charge of the action, referee Pat Russell. And now, Carson, California, it's time to let the fist do the talking. This is the main event of the evening. Veremos quién es el más macho. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. He enters the ring wearing white with gold and black trim. When he stepped on the scale, he weighed in at an official 146 1/2 pounds. And he enters the ring, an undefeated professional with 26 victories. 9 of those victories coming by way of KO. The reigning WBA Super Lightweight Champion of the world. Fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada, y puro Los Ángeles, California, Jesse, la nueva generación Vargas. Across the ring in the red corner, wearing blue with neon green, he too weighed in at an identical 146 1/2 pounds. As a professional, he has 31 victories with 1 lone defeat, 1 bout even, 1 no contest, and 12 of his victories coming by way of KO. The last time this 2-division, 4-time world champion stepped into this very same ring, he was 1/2 of the 2013 Fight of the Year. This evening, he enters in search of his 5th world title. Fighting out of Palm Springs, California, Desert Storm, Timothy Bradley.
Okay, fellas, back him up right here. 12 rounds, WBO championship. Here's the line right here. This is right by the zip. Here's the line right here. 12 rounds, touch him up. Good luck, come out at the bell.
One man trying to join the best fighters at the top of the sport. The other man trying to stay there.
Outpiece. Jesse, outpiece. Wow.
Veteran referee Pat Russell will be the 3rd man in the ring. And now here we go. Vargas should have an advantage in a jabbing contest, at least to begin with, because he has the longer arm. But Tim Bradley shows you immediately that he's ready to step up inside and go to Jesse Vargas's body to try to start the action off.
We'll see how Bradley looks tonight. He's put major emphasis on punching power and trying to get Vargas out of there. I don't know if that's a mistake or not. I think Tim should be who he's been and let the fight come to him and not try to force it.
Well, Jim, you pointed to the decreased activity from Bradley since the Provodnikov fight. Jesse Vargas is just the type of fighter who Bradley has outwilled throughout his career and wound up dominating over the distance. We'll see if he's still that guy.
Can read Bradley's mind right now. He's got knockout written all over it.
Well, that may be what he's thinking about. But I'll be honest, Andre, we've heard references to more power over and over and over from Tim for years, and it hasn't really ever shown up in the ring. It seems to be something that is a mantra for him. He's always working on, etc. But at the end of the day, he hasn't needed extra power to win fights.
All right, we're holding. Stop.
That's why I say
don't punch. Right, take a step.
Bradley should be who he's always been. Let the fight come to him, and he might get that knockout, but don't go looking for it.
Physical strength, not the same thing as punching power. Bradley can muscle you around the ring. He's as physically strong as he is mentally tough, but just it has not translated into concussive force on his punches.
Free him up, Jesse. Let him go.
A mystery with which he's constantly grappling.
Punch in front.
But again, that tremendous competitive heart, that desire, that will to win, which carries him from round to round throughout his life.
Well, let's make no mistake about it. Timothy Bradley hits you right, he can get you out of there. Trust me.
Free up those hands.
You fought him in the
Free him up,
amateurs
Tim.
more than once, right, Andre?
I just fought one time. I think we were 14 or 15 years old at 139 pounds, and to this day, that was one of my toughest fights. Not necessarily because of the skill or anything, but just the intangibles that Tim brings to the rings. He just doesn't stop.
I think if Tim's made an imprint at all in this first round, it's been body punching. The moments when he's been able to step up close to Jesse Vargas and get to his rib cage, he has established that he's here to compete. He's here to beat Tim Bradley.
Well, he's been first. He's the initiator so far.
Vargas told us in the fighter meeting that he thinks Timothy Bradley is intimidated by him, and I think he misread Tim Bradley. Tim Bradley is not intimidated by many people in the boxing game.
I totally agree with that. Hard right hand by Bradley to punctuate round one. Vargas left himself open inside while trying to land the left hook, and Bradley stepped right past the left and hit him in the mouth.
His jab is a little low. You gotta set it up and come behind it. Hey, come on. That's the easy shit right here. That's the best he has. And he's already broken. You already broke him. Mentally, he's broken. Look at his face. Okay? It's just a matter of time. Round by round, you're gonna break him. He's not gonna come out of the stool, champ. Keep applying the smart pressure. But once in a while, go back and get your distance and take your shots right. Don't fucking exchange when you're exchanging.
Here we see a nice sequence at the end of the round. Timothy Bradley slips to the left, comes with a beautiful left to the body and a short right to the head. And Vargas lands his own left, but Vargas got the brunt of those punches at the end of the round.
CompuBox numbers in round one pretty even. Bradley 11 out of 57, Vargas 13 out of 46, but Bradley with the 9-6 edge and power shots, the clean right hand that you saw there to end the round. And now we go to round two.
Tim Bradley's got to be careful inside as he's throwing those shots not to raise up, as Vargas has a slight reach advantage and a height advantage. He's got to be careful not to get caught on the way out. And for Vargas, fighting a shorter fighter, an aggressive fighter in Tim Bradley, he needs to start establishing his jab and not watching Bradley so much, but get going.
Yeah, so far the fight is taking place when Bradley wants it to take place. Ooh,
Good left hook by Vargas. Jesse Vargas' best punch of the fight so far. Solid left hook to the body. Bradley had to pause for a moment after that shot.
You see Vargas riding that momentum right now, working behind the jab.
Just missed a big right hand right there.
And now Bradley's body language is different in the wake of that solid left hook to the body that Jesse Vargas landed earlier in the round. Bradley not nearly as aggressive now as he was prior to the body shot.
Vargas is the longer fighter, and when he was pumping that jab, when he got that confidence after that good left hook, he was having some success at range.
All right, free hands. You don't need me. Free hands.
That's what he's got to do, Max. He's got to get that jab going. He's got to keep Timothy Bradley on the outside. Vargas has beautiful long-range punches. Good shot right there. Good right hand.
Yes.
Good body shot. Good exchange. That's what he's got to do if he's going to get some respect.
Really good exchange as Bradley was going side to side with crooked punches. Vargas came up the middle with straight ones.
Jesse Vargas gaining confidence in round two, stepping into these combinations and competing directly with Tim Bradley. Has had a much better round, it appears here, to us in the second than was the case in the first.
Much better round two, Jim.
Now Bradley looking for a way to reestablish his own momentum.
Yeah, Vargas mixing it up nicely to the head and body, as is Bradley.
Bradley sets up for a left hook, never really manages to get off the shot. And there's another good left hook to the body by Jesse Vargas.
Don't throw that elbow, Jesse.
That punch, the left hook to the body, could win Vargas the fight, it appears, if he sticks with it. There's Bradley with his own body punching as he knocks Vargas back into the ropes and reestablishes himself as the aggressor in the fight.
Things are heating up in this second round, Jim.
Boy, this is a good round two. Good prize fight.
July 25, Sergey the Crusher Kovalev fresh off his knockout win over Jean Pascal in one of the year's best fights, takes on Najib Mohammadi. Also that night, the aforementioned Jean Pascal matches up with Yunieski Gonzalez. Good light heavyweight doubleheader. And meanwhile, speaking of middleweight division, there is Gennady Gennadievich Golovkin, whom you saw on May 16 here in Los Angeles, getting the knockout win over Willie Monroe. Loves the camera, loves the fan base, loves to come to the fights, loves being GGG.
Every time you touch him with a jab, you hurt him.
See a nice exchange from both fighters. Jesse just misses the left. Tim actually lands a headbutt and a right, slightly misses his left, and then Jesse lands a left hook to the shoulder that it wobbles Tim, but I think it was just the way Tim stepped. I think it may have been his ankle or something. We initially thought he landed it on the chin.
Not as impressive on replay as it looked live.
Combi box punches in round 2. Bradley seemed to have landed 18 of 60. Vargas 16 out of 58. In other words, virtually a dead even round in round 2, and both fighters had some big sequences in the rounds.
Oh, good uppercut from Bradley.
Bradley landing the uppercut, may have found a new weapon to work with. Getting off to a fast start in the third round.
From that StubHub Center brings the action fighter out in Tim Bradley.
Tim Bradley calls the StubHub Center the war grounds.
Brings the action fighter out and a lot of different guys. We've seen some tremendous fights here in StubHub Center over the years. Many people will call Bradley versus Prabodnikov one of the best of them, but of course, in that same year, we had the first fight between Brandon Rios and Mike Alvarado.
That was a classic.
Tim being the shorter fighter, trying to work mid-range and in close. He also needs to come behind his jab to offset what Jesse's trying to do. Loading up with big shots with shorter arms from the outside is going to spell trouble for Tim Bradley down the stretch. It's going to give Vargas a chance to time him, to see that shot, and then counter like he's done several times with that right hand.
Yeah, when Bradley loads up, as he did against Pacquiao in the rematch, he is able to generate some power, but it leads to him making some amateurish mistakes, which is unusual for a fighter at his level.
And Vargas is staying under his feet, he's staying calm, and he's in position to punch at all times.
A lot of Jesse Vargas' success tonight against Tim Bradley may proceed from the question of whether he can put other punches with the 1-2 to give himself variety and make himself less predictable than is the case when he's just firing the long jab in the right hand, 1-2, 1-2. You saw the left hook to the body in the second round, which was his best punch so far in the fight. That's a punch which could give him a real leg up toward victory if he can land it with any consistency.
Bradley has to keep in mind that he's in with a guy who has always been the beneficiary of the close decision. Bradley got a very unpopular one against Pacquiao, but seemed to be ripped off in his last one, a draw, and of course against Marquez, only got a split decision in a fight it appeared he won by many rounds. And I'm sure Tim is conscious of that.
All right, you're holding. Free him up. Free up those hands. Let him go. Got a hand.
Vargas has to show that during a fight at this pace that he can mentally stay engaged and he doesn't mentally fall off midway and then late in this fight, which sometimes he shows that he will.
Bradley trying to convince us yesterday, I am at a high water mark for hunger in my career. After what happened to me last year, I desperately need to win. I'm at the same level of hunger when I went to fight Junior Witter in England and I had $12 in my bank account. And there's Jesse Vargas, his father, Jose Vargas, at ringside, happy with what he's seen from his son so far.
You're more intelligent than he is. You're longer than he is. When you catch him with a jab, you work him very well, and then use your combinations. You saw he's going down. He's going down. He hurts. You're strong. Let's go. Build your confidence. Have confidence in what you do. Yes, yes. Exploit it. We come to win round by round. We can do it. Come on, listen. Pay attention. Don't stay against the ropes. Combinations, Jesse. Press him. Distance.
Tough fight to score. Well, listen to this. In round 2, CompuBox found Bradley landing 18 and Vargas landing 16. In round 3, CompuBox finds Bradley landing 17 and Vargas landing 17. A very even fight through the first 3 rounds. Harold, how have you scored it?
Okay, Jim. In the first round, I thought Timothy Bradley, looked real good. I thought he was hurting Jesse Vargas. By the way, I've got a 2-1, 29-28 Tim Bradley. In round 2, I thought Jesse Vargas was terrific. Landed power shots. It looked like he hurt Tim Bradley. But in round 3, Jesse Vargas was backing up. He was holding. Bradley was coming forward, landing power shots, just like that. And I thought Vargas got hurt in round 3. 2-1, Timothy Bradley.
And now Andre Bradley's off to a fast start in round 4.
Yeah, big right hand from Bradley right there. I like that he's hungry. I like that he's very motivated coming into this fight, but that could be his downfall if it's not controlled in this fight.
As you say that, Andre, we're seeing now flashes of it again from Vargas. When Bradley gets a little overly aggressive, Vargas starts pumping a good, mean jab from long range and starts firing the kind of shots that can make Bradley pay if he gets caught with them coming in.
Hard right hand from Bradley. His sheer veteran assertiveness is giving him the edge at some moments in the fight. He's just more willing than Jesse to step up and try to get something done.
And I like those moments where Bradley will surprise Vargas with the big shot, but you can't do that over and over. Vargas is, a guy with a lot of experience. He'll time that. It only takes one shot to change the way this fight is going. One shot can end it.
Crowd chanting for Tim Bradley.
Good right hand from Vargas.
That's the kind of right hand I'm talking about.
I mean, Bradley has several times in this fight bent so low it looks like he's come close to being knocked down, to scraping the canvas with his gloves.
Uppercut from Bradley, uppercut again. Vargas got in one quick left hook. Tim Bradley just outworking him in that face-to-face exchange. Now Vargas lands a couple body shots. Bradley trying to fire back to the body himself.
Stop punching, step back. Right, now go.
Hard right hand again from Bradley.
Nice short left hook from Vargas on the way out there.
Whenever Bradley has that kind of veteran assertive moment that you described, Jim, Vargas always kind of mutes the success by giving him something back on the way in.
Crowd oohing and eyeing for the Bradley right hand. Great body shots from Bradley on the inside, ripping Vargas to the ribcage as Jesse extended his arm.
Well, it's a good fight.
Really good fight. There's Bradley's wife and manager, Monica Bradley.
Okay, but when you have fun, you always gotta be careful. Keep those hands up. Okay, never drop the defense at no fucking point. Got this shit? Okay, baby, let's go.
You gotta go straight down the middle, okay? All right? These are your 1-2 straight down the middle. He's a young rattlesnake.
We're on the scorecards, round 5. Okay. Every time you land those shots, you're hurting them, baby. You know that, right? Okay, let's keep doing what you're doing. Less punches, baby. Less punches, but more effective, okay? Hey,
here's a beautiful move that Bradley has been using all night, which is a slip move. He slips the jab, starts with the left to the body, the right to the body, ends with a nice left hook to the top of the head that buzzes Jesse Vargas and gets his attention. Great combination from Tim Bradley.
CompuBox count in round 4. Bradley 24 out of 61, Vargas 21 out of 51. Bradley with a 17-11 edge, according to CompuBox, in power shots. These rounds are close. These rounds are competitive. These rounds are, if they yield an advantage in any one direction or another, seemingly somewhat controlled by Bradley's veteran experience and will to win.
Yep.
This is the kind of fight, as we spoke about in the opening, that Vargas is going to have to show that he's not just a good fighter. He's fighting an elite fighter, good combination from Timothy right there, that he can match Timothy and even exceed Timothy's aggression and desire to win. This is the moment for Vargas. He's got to show up tonight.
Even as Tim is coming in and getting the better of exchanges, though, Vargas is landing and even missing counter hooks that make you think, whoa, he could score a knockdown with any one of those shots.
Right, but it's not quite enough to change the,
Agreed.
way this fight is going right now.
Agreed. Hasn't happened yet.
And you're right, there's a lot of fight left. It's only the 5th round. Really like to see both fighters using the jab while they're thinking and trying to set up their next move. It'll buy you time, it'll build up points, and it'll keep your opponent honest. Lost art in the game, not the funnest punch to throw, but it works.
And look at Tim Bradley, because he's not a knockout puncher, but he is a top brand fighter. There's no easy fights for him. He's always expected to fight a real opponent. He's never going to get him out of there early.
Break, now go.
He's always going to give up the size, and he's always going to be in a dogfight.
Bradley's going to always earn his money.
And if you like action and don't need the knockouts, he'll always give you your money's worth.
But as we saw in the Marquez fight and other fights, Timothy Bradley can box when he wants to box. But as we saw in the fighter meeting yesterday, his mind is made up. He wants to fight tonight.
And we mentioned that the punch output for Bradley had dropped coming into the fight, throwing an average of 49 punches per round in his last 3 fights after the all-out war against Provodnikov. But tonight, Bradley is a little bit more free with his punches, a little bit more willing to let go. I don't think he's going to wind up averaging 49 punches per round tonight. He's exceeding that level in most of these rounds.
Nice short right hand from Bradley to the forehead of Vargas that got his attention, stunned him a little bit, and Vargas hasn't really responded since.
Bradley is a versatile fighter, Andre. But against a taller fighter who may not press the action, he may feel that tactically, in order for him to assert himself and win these rounds, he has to be the one to get inside.
I agree. I think he's got the right game plan. He's obviously got to keep his defense tight, and once again, I'd like to see him come behind the jab more, but this is what he's got to do tonight.
And I think Bradley has decided, whether correctly or not, Bradley has decided he doesn't need to respect Jesse Vargas' punching power. He's walking right to it.
He is, but good exchange at the end of that round.
Brilliant.
Jesse, you got conditioning for that and more. Have confidence. Let your hands go. Combinations, but at distance. You can do it. Fake them at a distance. Come on, let go. Breathe, breathe, breathe.
Round 6, Jess, how we doing? All good?
Come on.
Nice vicious exchange from both fighters. Some big shots landed right there from Jesse Vargas. Tim Bradley tries his own hook, he misses. Vargas comes right back with a jab, misses the right hand, misses the uppercut. These guys are intent on getting the other guy out of there. This is a good fight going into the 6th round.
I mentioned the boosted punch output from Bradley tonight. No 49 punches per round tonight. In that round, he threw 71 of them to 57 for Vargas. And by the way, for the 2nd round of the last 3, CompuBox Count found them both landing the same number of punches. 18 for Bradley, 18 for Vargas. Round 6 of his scheduled 12. We'll be halfway through at the end of these 3 minutes. The 1,001st fight in the history of HBO boxing. If you just joined us earlier this evening, Oscar Valdez won a 10-round decision over Ruben Tamayo in the 1,000th prize fight ever to have aired on HBO. Now we're starting the second 1,000.
The only time I really see, I'll say the only time, but most times Tim Bradley gets counters when he loads up, takes a big leap before he throws his punch. Vargas is able to time him and catch him on the way out. But when Bradley comes behind the jab, he has more success offensively, and defensively he doesn't get hit as much.
And he's keeping Vargas on the defensive. I'm sure that Eric Morales is wondering why Jesse Vargas won't attack more freely against Timothy Bradley. You know, he's longer and he's bigger.
They're close competitive rounds, as we've mentioned. I think Vargas actually may be slightly sharper, but Bradley, as you said, Jim, he's bringing it. And so where you have to choose, it seems to favor Bradley.
Yeah, it's not about being sharp with Tim. It's about getting it done. It's about you feeling his ferocity, his intensity, his punches, everything. He wants you to feel him, and that's what Tim is all about.
Whoa, let his head out. Don't let it out. Pick it up a little bit.
Which helps to account for why some guys, like Abregu, like Lamont Peterson, like Devin Alexander, basically just faded away in the face of Bradley's competitive will.
He wore him down, both mentally and physically.
Often say about Bradley, everyone thinks they want to win, and then they fight Bradley and they see, oh, there's a difference. He needs to win.
Yeah, you fight Bradley, you better bring your lunch pail. It's going to be a long night.
Trading body shots. Bradley putting everything he can into those left hooks to the body. Not a power puncher, but a hard puncher nevertheless.
Don't pin his head. Pick your head up.
And you see Vargas' face starting to break down.
Nice three-piece from Vargas. Nice answer from Timothy. Nice exchange from both fighters right here.
Well, they like those last few seconds of every round, don't they?
Remarkable prize fight halfway through. August 11, it's the return of the hugely popular HBO series Hard Knocks. Join J.J. Watson, the Houston Texans, for behind-the-scenes access during training camp for 5 of the hottest, hardest weeks of their lives. See who makes the team, who doesn't, who winds up in the starting lineup. Coming Tuesdays, only on HBO.
He's got no balance. You got to walk him a bit more. You got to jab him with your guard up. All right, keep your guard up. Now I see you a little bit looser. We started late. Jab, jab, jab. But I see you a bit looser now. We need you to go throw more combinations. Come on, get your combinations in there. Be more confident. Get your hand up. Breathe. Have some water.
How we doing? All good?
Let's go, Jesse. Don't let the fight go. You gotta press.
CompuBox numbers through 6 rounds. Bradley, 109 out of 369. Vargas, 107 out of 317. So Vargas landing at a slightly higher connect percentage. Bradley throwing a little bit more and throwing more than he has in the last 3 fights after the Probodnikov tussle. And Vargas connected 22 to 21 in round 6. Harold, how do you have it halfway through?
Okay, Jim, I got it 4 rounds to 2. 58-56, Timothy Bradley. You know, Jim, Jesse Vargas has taken to just backing up. Look, he backs up and he gets nailed. Bradley's got much more balance, throwing harder shots, and he's got control of this fight. What Vargas has got to do is he's got to start coming forward and getting off first. Do what Andre Ward does. Get off first. Get the guy's face, get off first, and punch. But Vargas is backing up, and getting nailed. He's got to start coming forward. 4-2, Timothy Bradley.
And Bradley's asserted himself right from the opening bell. You got to give Vargas credit, though. While Bradley has the initiative, Vargas has been fighting him off pretty well.
Eric Morales training Jesse Vargas for just the last month. Vargas originally was planning to prepare for the fight with Roy Jones as his trainer after Roy Jones trained him to his brilliant performance against Antonio DeMarco in Macau last November. And then Jesse Vargas determined that Roy Jones's schedule did not match effectively enough with his. He needed more time with the trainer, and with a month to go, he hired Eric Morales out of Tijuana to begin a brand new relationship. They've never worked together before.
Once again, Tim's trying to dip his head to land that big right. He landed it, but there's sometimes he'll get caught on the way in. He needs to come behind that jab to hide that big right hand. He'll have more success. Will actually give up less energy on the way in. And Vargas has shown in past fights that he has no problem at certain moments brawling and fighting, but there's a reason he's not coming forward against Tim Bradley tonight.
Yeah, Bradley has seized the initiative and he hasn't given it up, even though the fight is contested oftentimes on even terms. But it's Bradley initiating, it's Bradley bringing the fight.
And that's what I talked about earlier when he and I fought as young kids. It's the intangibles. You feel that intensity from a guy, and you have a decision. Either I'm going to try to match it, or am I just go outbox this guy tonight? Vargas is trying to outbox him and be patient.
This is a round in which both guys have saved a little bit of energy, but Bradley saved less. And he's the one who keeps finding moments to step up, assert himself, paint Jesse Vargas over the top with right hands, get inside and land a few body shots, and make sure that even if he's getting a little rest, he's winning the round.
Vargas looking a little spent right now.
That was a nothing round for Jesse Vargas.
That was a great pace. See, once you get that pace, you're in control. This round was a dominating round, bro, like nothing.
Smart round.
Tim, can you keep this fucking pace for the rest of the fight? Okay, hey, this is what I want you to do at some time, Tim. That guy's gassing out already. He's fucking extremely tired. All you need to do is tighten up your defense and just let him throw. Let him throw, let him throw. Let him throw, let him throw. You got it? Try it and you see what I'm trying to tell you. Tighten up the defense, go for it.
Here we see Tim Bradley throw a nice jab to the chest and come over the top and hit Jesse Vargas with a clean overhand right to the temple. Been landing that shot all night. Another sequence here, jab to the chest, another right hand to the temple. Those shots have been landing all night long. They've yet to hurt or drop Jesse Vargas, but Tim Bradley's still trying.
The kinds of punches which would appear to be winning the fight in a close, competitive battle for Tim Bradley against Jesse Vargas. And one point which should be made. Both fighters tested with Voluntary Anti-Doping Association for this fight. And Voluntary Anti-Doping Association, the only drug testing service in the world which uses the most sophisticated possible test, carbon isotope ratio testing, for every single sample. Therefore, these two guys are as close as you can get in the sports world to being certain to be competitively clean tonight.
The most amazing thing about that, I think, is that it's possible to look like Tim Bradley and not be cheating.
Absolutely.
Tim's looked like that since he's been 10 years old.
He wasn't juicing then, and he's not juicing now.
He's genetically cheating.
All right, roll. Don't lean on it. Step out. There you go, Tim.
Bradley is built like a much larger guy who's been compressed into a smaller guy. Big hands, big feet.
Big feet, that's
big,
right.
strong, and yet short.
In the heart of a lion.
Between rounds, Joel Diaz, Bradley's trainer, told him, "You're way ahead in the fight." Now, Joel is hyper-enthusiastic much of the time anyway. And I imagine that when Tim listens to him, he listens with a little bit of a grain of salt. Okay, you think I'm winning the fight big. I'm going to go out and do more in this round just to make more certain.
Well, fighters can be stubborn, and in more ways than one. And Tim seemed to have his mind made up at the beginning of training camp. Good secret from Jesse right there. And he also had his mind made up yesterday that I'm coming to fight, I'm looking for a knockout, and that's, he's one-track mind tonight. That's what he's
for the second time in 2 weeks, here ringside,
we have danger of a contact tie.
We're smelling premature celebration from somewhere during the fight.
Well, it happened in Madison Square Garden's theater 2 weeks ago, and now it's happening again tonight. That telltale skunky smell.
Wasn't that just last week?
Oh, that was 2 weeks ago.
I can't keep track anymore.
Your schedule's too full. You don't know. You're working every day. Bradley almost goes through the ropes, landing that arcing right hand over the top.
Bradley pitched that right hand and landed it. Flush. Vargas has to find it within himself to rally. It's the end of the eighth. Does he want to just be considered a really, really good fighter, or does he want to be elite? He's got to bite down, and he's got to step up the pace if he wants to match the intensity of Timothy Bradley.
I think he's got to find a way in the last 4 rounds to go forward. He's not going to make an imprint on Tim Bradley constantly backing up. He's got to go forward if he's going to have any chance of hurting Bradley and changing the momentum of the fight.
Assuming Bradley's winning these rounds, and especially the earlier, closer ones.
Throw more punches. You've got to throw more punches, more combinations. Not just one. I want 2 or 3 punches. At least 3. 2, 3. 2, 3. The only thing I want is jab. And finish the combinations with the right. Let's go.
You're dominating this guy, but I just don't want you to fucking get caught. I don't want you to get caught with a damn lucky shot.
That was short, but you pulled it down a little bit. You got it, but you're good. All right, keep on the body though, champ. You're breaking them down. All right? Get on that body. Stay alert. Stay alert.
Hey, give me some more impacts on the body, okay? Don't push those punches.
Another big right hand from Tim Bradley. Just missed the chin of Jesse Vargas. Gets caught up in the ropes. You don't see that happen every round. Jesse tried to take advantage and throw a right hand, but he missed.
CompuBox numbers in 8. Bradley was 24 out of 63. Vargas 20 out of 62. Bradley with a 15-11 power advantage. Those numbers sound very close. But at moments during the rounds when the two guys face up against each other, it's Bradley who's more assertive. Veteran, sensibility, ring knowledge, command of the self, belief in the self, all those things coming to the fore for Tim Bradley as he comes to the stretch of the fight.
Well, the expression is class tells over time, and in the last several rounds, the margin seems to have been wider for Bradley.
Yeah, body language, body language, body language. Tim Bradley looks like he's been here before. He looks like he's supposed to be here. And Vargas looks like he's being outclassed and he can only last or keep that pace for so many rounds. And now the later rounds are coming on. He's not able to keep up with Tim Bradley.
And Eric Morales is 100% correct in stating Vargas is throwing one punch at a time or sometimes two punches at a time. But he doesn't throw the three-punch combination, which could really make a difference for him.
And Vargas is relying on Bradley's mistakes, and Bradley's making some mistakes because he's winging some shots, but he's not creating Vargas his own opportunities. And I think that's what Eric Morales sees. He wants him to initiate and create his own offensive opportunities.
Well, Vargas better get more offensive because Tim Bradley's offensive, and he's trying to get a stoppage in this fight. And Jesse Vargas is doing nothing to deter Timothy Bradley right now.
Good hard left hand to the body by Vargas. That's his best punch in a couple of rounds, and it caused Bradley to back away from it.
Tim took a quick breather, but he's right back on him. And it's not that Vargas doesn't have the ability or the arsenal. He's just got to have the temperament to take that next step.
Bradley making certain when he gets close to throw 3- and 4-punch combinations to accentuate the difference between his attack and what Vargas has done. 1-1-1-2.
So many small battles in the midst of the big battle. And a fighter knows when another fighter doesn't want to engage, or if he's starting to fade, or if mentally he doesn't want to, match his intensity. And Timothy Bradley feels that from Jesse Vargas right now.
Bradley's cruising, and you can see the difference in landed punches in this round. And if Eric Morales wants to ask his fighter one more time for 3-punch combinations, it will be the correct request. Now there's a combination, finally, 4 punches in a row from Vargas. But it took him 2 minutes and 50 seconds to get to that point in the round.
And I think Bradley wanted that. That's why he's going into more of a shell defense. He's trying to encourage Vargas to throw those shots.
He wants to open him up.
The towel, the gold towel. He's cut. He's cut on the side. Gold towel. Breathe. Deep breath. Come on. 2 deep breaths. Deep breaths. Again. Another one. Another one. Jesse, come on, we got conditioning. Build your confidence. You got to throw punches more. Get those combinations in.
Bradley, this is your fight, baby, okay? But I don't want you to get careless in there, okay? Okay, please. Okay? Yeah.
Fine. You all good?
He's good, he's good.
I can't come
Okay? 3 more rounds, baby, we'll go home. Okay? Let's go.
Box. He's got a cut on his eye, too, Doc, underneath. Bradley.
Harold, how do we have it coming to the 10th?
Okay, Jim. I've got an 88-83, 7 rounds to 2. Timothy Bradley. You know, Jimmy keeps dominating these rounds in my eyes by backing the guy up, landing the hardest shots, keeping him backing up. You know, Jesse Vargas can't, if he's got any power, he can't get it off. Back it up. He's got to go forward. He's got to get aggressive. He's got to throw more punches in order to win this fight, and all he does is back up. I mean, Bradley's got to back it up the whole fight. If this isn't effective aggressiveness, I've never seen effective aggressiveness. But on the other hand, Jesse Vargas has got a way of stealing decisions. 7-2, Bradley.
It's a good, tough fight, and especially the first 6 rounds or so looked like they had a little extra something to them. You just get the feeling that it's falling short of being the kind of fight you remember, not because of Bradley, but because Vargas won't match Bradley's intensity. And you also get the feeling that were Vargas...
But don't do that. Touch him up. Come here. Touch him up. Don't do that, fellas.
Were Vargas to match Bradley's intensity, Bradley would ratchet that up a little higher.
At the end of the day, Vargas is a nice fighter who doesn't have a major X factor, who doesn't have any particular weapon that will cast fear into the heart of the opponent, who won 10 straight decisions coming in, of which 3 of them could easily have gone the other way. He was very fortunate to arrive at this plateau as an unbeaten fighter, and he's done nothing in this particular fight to show that he could at some day get onto the same level as the level to which Tim Bradley has willed himself through competitive desire and self-possession.
Well, it's not easy. That level is not easy, and that's why we should celebrate guys like Tim Bradley and other elite guys, no matter if they're hard punchers, good boxers, whatever their style is. Jesse's a really, really good fighter. Timothy Bradley's just an elite fighter, and that's why you celebrate and appreciate guys like him.
Provodnikov was able to bring out something that we'll never forget in Bradley and in that fight, because he stayed at that high level of intensity with that incredible will to win, and it forced Bradley to go to new places that places you don't ordinarily have to see athletes go to.
Provodnikov does have an X factor.
Yeah.
His chin and his desire.
Sure, and it brought out Bradley's X factor, and here Bradley's simply taken over the fight, after round 6. And I thought he won the majority of the rounds before round 6.
All right, I think it's not one-sided enough to call it a man against a boy. But in terms of competitive temperament, it is a man against a boy. After boxing tonight, tune in for a Real Sports replay. Catch an important update on Real Sports' story concerning the FIFA corruption scandal, with startling new allegations recently coming to light. Just a shame that a pristine, completely unadulterated sport like boxing, which is never seen to be corrupt in any way, has to put up with promos for something like soccer.
I need you to stay smart, baby. I need you to make him throw. I need you to make him open up and catch him on the way in. Yeah, I need you to catch him with a fucking liver shot. I need you to focus on the liver shot. Okay? How are we doing? He's doing good. He's doing great. He's barely starting. This is nothing new to this guy. Right, Tim? Yeah. Talk to me. Are you all right? Okay, baby. Okay, let's go. I want to see you cheer up. Let's go.
Hang on. Box.
After having said everything we have in the last several rounds, especially in extolling Bradley's competitive virtue, and there you see Harold has Bradley up 4 rounds. Some of those are very close rounds. If you're up 4 and you change 2, you got an even fight.
Yep. Not out of the question, certainly, that we could see something unusual in these scores. We've seen it before.
And given
we call
how
it the way we see it.
Yeah, given how Bradley felt his last fight when he should have won and got a draw, we know that's on his mind right now, and he wants to close strong and make sure that he secures this victory.
And a couple of rounds ago, you heard Pat Russell mentioning to commission personnel at ringside that Bradley has a cut under his left eye, and that left eye is beginning to swell now, which is yet another thing that could affect the judging of the fight.
Nice right hand from Jesse Vargas about 10, 15 seconds ago.
And sometimes you get an unpopular decision, and it's not about bad judging. It's about a quirky scoring system we have in boxing, where virtually all rounds are scored 10-9 unless there's a knockdown. And so in a fight without knockdowns, one round that one fighter may win by a wide margin is scored the same as his opponent winning another round by a small margin.
Yeah, but as a fighter, our thing is just get it right. If a guy wins a fight clearly, we're judging round by round. So if a guy clearly wins, he marked that down as 10-9, and you add it up at the end of the day, and he should be the guy getting his hand right.
Sure, and usually the guy who wins has won the majority of his rounds decisively, and the close rounds are divvied up kind of randomly. But that's not always the case. Sometimes the judges consistently favor one fighter in close rounds.
Which is not the right thing to do. It should be objective.
Bradley starting to pick up the pace again a little bit here. Minutes go in the 11th round. Then, of course, the 12th. If you've watched Tim Bradley in the past, You might surmise that he's going to try to come out with some kind of a flurry, something demonstrative in the 12th round, put an imprint on the final round of the fight, the way he did in the last 30 seconds against Juan Manuel Marquez in what turned out to be a very close fight, and maybe those last 30 seconds won the fight.
But you know, this 11th round counts the same as the 12th, and so it might be a good idea for Tim to put an exclamation point on this round. And Vargas has had some success in this round.
But Bradley has too.
And I think Timothy won this round. I think Brad
sticking the jab effectively and has stuck in a couple of right hands that Vargas tasted.
Still 10 seconds to go, but I think Bradley pulled this out, but a better round for Vargas. Ooh, good shot.
Stop the bell.
One round to go.
A lot better. Hey, when you're smart, you do a lot better. Don't get reckless in there.
After 11 rounds of all-out war here at the Sub Hub Center.
Is this the last round?
One more to go.
Last round, Jack.
The 12th and final round.
Wait. Let me get this. Hold on, guys.
4 punches, 3, 4. 4 in pressure. Come on, Jesse. This is your last round. It's a real tight one. Really close. It's a really close fight. Let's go. You can do it.
Okay, let's go. Get up. Hey.
CompuBox numbers entering the 12th round. Bradley is seen to have landed 31 more punches, 220 to 189.
Mouthpiece.
And Vargas
All right, touch him up, fellas.
throwing
Let's go.
fewer, landing at a slightly higher connect percentage, but Bradley with a power advantage, 137 to 100. Overall advantage of landed punches in the fight. But let's see if Bradley will do something assertive to try to put his imprint on the 12th.
Let's see if Vargas has one last stand.
Bradley's face, by the way, for the second consecutive fight, I mentioned how Vargas started to fall apart. Bradley's face didn't look great at the end of his last fight with Diego Chavez, where he got a draw we felt he won. And here we feel he's winning this fight. His face also doesn't come out of it in great shape.
Same side, left side of his face, just like in the Diego Chavez fight.
Well, and against Chavez, that was because of butts. This is not because of butts. This is probably the product of a couple of pretty good right hands from Jesse Vargas.
Vargas landed early in the fight. It's got to be frustrating for Eric Morales, who future Hall of Famer, great fighter, been in so many championship fights, so many wars. He wants to inject what he knows Vargas needs to do into him, but he can't. He's limited as a trainer. He can only give the instructions and hope that Jesse Vargas goes out there and executes.
Hard right hand by Vargas. Good landed shot over the top. But Bradley comes back with the 1-2.
Stop right there. Watch your heads. Go.
Another 1-2 from Tim Bradley. Stepping in, landing a left hook, Tim Bradley. Less than a minute to go in the fight.
It's interesting that in these last 2 rounds, Bradley's gone to this kind of movement. And has at least let Vargas create the impression that he's being aggressive.
All right, I got it. Don't punch.
Well, that could be the product of his conversations with his trainer, Joel Diaz, who told him along about the 8th or 9th round, you're way ahead, you're winning the fight easily. Giving Bradley a cue, perhaps, and he could relax a little bit in the late rounds, conserve some energy, make sure of finishing the fight in good order. Less than 30 seconds to go. Hard right hand by Vargas. Wobbles Bradley.
Tim's out on his feet right now.
Yep, Tim is out on his feet. Better.
Not time to exchange. He needs to hold and get through these 10 seconds and hope he did enough to win this fight. What happened?
Oh, no,
I'm
no.
not sure what in the world Pat Russell is doing.
Pat Russell thought he heard the bell. He heard the 10-second warning. Vargas thinks he's won by knockout. He has not.
Pat Russell seemed to rob Jesse Vargas of the last 20 seconds of the fight.
I believe there were 10 seconds left in the fight. I think the 10-second warning is what Pat Russell heard. He stopped the fight because he felt the bell had rung. Vargas is celebrating as though he won by stoppage. Russell is explaining to Carl Moretti of Main Events right now that he has not won by stoppage, that he thought the fight was over.
So clearly there was nothing that happened there that would have prompted Pat Russell to stop the fight, although Vargas did hurt Bradley with a right hand and wobbled him, and Bradley was in trouble seeking to finish the fight. And Pat Russell made a motion that prompted Jesse Vargas to believe it was over, when in fact that was not the case.
And that's not even the blunder there, that one fighter believes mistakenly that he won the fight at this moment. The blunder is that Tim Bradley, by no means, was certain to finish this fight with 10 seconds to go. Vargas was on top of him. He had him badly hurt, and he should have been given 10 seconds to finish the fight.
But we are told that we will be going to the scorecards, so the scorecards will determine who has won the fight, and not the celebration by Vargas, which went on for quite some time.
And that should be scored a 10-8 round for Vargas, by the way. It's an inch.
We're going to take another look at the end of the fight. Andre and Max, I'll let you guys handle the replays as we go through the end of the fight. Tell us what took place. Vargas loaded up a big right hand and hurt Brad right there.
Tremendous shot from Vargas. I don't know how Tim Bradley stayed up. He was out on his feet. It's unfortunate that Pat Russell made a mistake there. Who knows what would have happened. This is where he came in, and there was a confusion right here.
Russell said, no, fight's over, thinking he heard the bell.
And there were 10 seconds left at the moment when Russell...
Beautifully timed shot from Vargas right there.
Well, whoever is the loser is going to have an argument for a rematch.
Right. What happened was Pat Russell heard the 10-second warning and thought there's a 10-second warning before the end of the fight, a clapping of two sticks, and Pat Russell thought it was the bell, said no, fight's over. Vargas took that to mean he'd won by stoppage, when Russell intended to mean the final bell had rung, even though it hadn't. The timekeeper's now showing me it was with 4 seconds left that the fight was stopped. So Russell heard the clapping of the 10-second warning with 10 seconds to go and made that decision by 4 seconds left.
Pat Russell's a great referee. He just made a mistake. He thought that the 10-second clap was the final bell in the heat of the moment.
There's a look at Pat Russell, ex-Marine, longtime referee and judge here in California. Subject of some controversy when he stopped Rios Alvarado 1 at a moment when some people felt the fight could have been allowed to continue. Had a lot of other great moments as a referee here over the years. This will not be remembered as one of his best, and this will cast a shadow over the fight, regardless of the ultimate result. All right, now Lupe Contreras stands by with the official scores and the decision. Let's see who's won the fight.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please. Referee Pat Russell signaled the end of the round, not the end of the fight. As a result, we consult the official scorecard to determine a winner. Judge Lucas scores it 116 to 112. Rocky Young, 117 to 111, and Judge Bayless scores it 115 to 112. For the winner, by way of unanimous decision, and now, interim WBO welterweight world champion, Desert Storm, Timothy Bradley.
So Monica Bradley celebrates her husband's victory. Tim Bradley is the winner of the fight. And now Jesse Vargas and the people in his corner are going to have a heck of an argument to make about what took place at the end of the fight. Harold, what's your take?
Jim, they absolutely took away Vargas' advantage. I mean, he had a chance to score a clean knockout. It was his only chance to win the fight, and Pat Russell stole it from him. I mean, out bad call. I don't know what you can do about it, but, you know, it took away Vargas' chance to belt him out. I had it 115, 112, you know, just like one of the judges had it. I did score the 10th round, 10th to 12th round, 10th-8 in favor of Jesse Vargas. But Vargas had a clear chance to belt this guy out, and Pat Russell stole it. It's a shame.
Obviously, the only thing that can be done to in any way correct is to establish a rematch.
Correct.
And give Vargas another chance to find a way to try to beat Tim Bradley.
You know, when they go to Paco Valcarcel and the WBO, I think that's what Paco's going to rule.
Now let's go to Max Kellerman with referee Pat Russell.
Pat, can you describe what happened at the end of the fight?
Well, very loud in that 12th round, and I thought I heard the bell. So the fight was over when the bell went off.
Let's look at the replay and describe what you see.
He's hurt. He's still hurt. He's working a bit. He's in it.
And here comes the 10-second warning. Do you think that's what you heard?
It sounded like the bell to me. It really did.
Right, but you heard something with 10 seconds to go, and that may have been the 10-second warning.
But you don't always hear the 10-second warning. You like to, but what I thought I heard was the bell.
Right.
The fight.
So you signaled the end of the fight. Now, Pat, you made the call you thought in the moment obviously was the proper call. You're a referee, but you're also a fight fan. It was a tremendous fight.
Yes, it was.
And the loser of the fight had the winner hurt with 10 seconds to go.
Yes, I know.
I hate to ask you, but how do you feel after a moment like that?
Well, I made the call that I made based upon what I heard. That's all I can say. It was an honest call on an honest issue.
A referee has to make a million decisions. They're not always going to be perfect. Pat, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Tim, how are you feeling right now?
I feel great right now, man. I want to thank all the fans for coming out tonight, man. Thank you for all your support. Everybody that came from Coachella, baby. Dirty Desert in the house, baby. I love you guys. And all the fans that came out, thank you.
Tim, we had you winning the fight. We thought that you seized the initiative and never really gave it up. And yet, he hurt you, it looked pretty badly, and was denied that last 10 seconds to try to finish you. On the one hand, you're the beneficiary of the referee's early stoppage. On the other hand, you have to somehow now defend the fact that you won the fight. How do you feel about that?
I don't have to defend anything, man. He caught me with a good shot at the end. The ref thought he heard the bell. I was good enough. I could have maintained. I grabbed a hold to him. Towards the end of the fight, look at the review. I grabbed a hold to him. I would have squeezed him so tight. You know what I'm saying? Like his mom was hugging him. Hey, we do it again. Hey, it was a good fight.
It was. We gave the fans a good fight. They didn't let me finish what I started, man.
Hey, it was a great shot, man. You caught me, you hurt me, but you know what? I would have finished. I ain't gonna lie. It was 10 seconds left.
So let's look at it, Tim, and you tell me what you see.
He stepped in, dropped my hand low. He caught me with a clean overhand right. But look at me, man. I'm standing up. I see what's going on. I'm coming, bagging up. Watch, I see him coming. I put my hands up. You see me blocking shots. I'm still alive in there, and I grab a hold to him right there. You see that? You see that? Yeah. Even if the ref would have let him go some more, I would have grabbed a hold to him again. I'm an experienced fighter, man. I know what I'm doing in there.
There were only about 7 seconds left in the fight, and even had he been awarded a 10-8 round or even a 10-7 round there, you still win the fight on the scorecards. You heard Jesse asking you for a rematch. Do you think the last few seconds of that fight warrants a rematch?
Why not? Why not? We can do a rematch. Hey, I don't have a problem with that. We can definitely do a rematch, man. Jesse came out, he fought hard, man. I felt like I was in better shape than he was. That's why I was able to take over the fight. towards the second half when he started fading. I start coming on strong with my jab and landing combinations. But absolutely, I'll give him a rematch, no problem.
Tim, the fight was going your way, and we thought it was pretty close early a lot of the rounds, but we were favoring you in close rounds because you were seizing the initiative. You seemed to take over by a greater margin in the second half of the fight, and yet in rounds 11 and 12, you got on your bike a little bit. Why?
Just outboxing him, man. I knew I was ahead on the scorecard. I just figured I would move and let him take an initiative and then just counterpunch him, because when I was coming forward, he was looking for that jab and he was looking for that overhand right. And he caught me at the end with the overhand right over the top. He snuck it over, hurt me, but you know what? I could have continued, man. Hey, come on, Max. I've survived Provodnikov. Come on.
Was that, like, here you are at StubHub Center, what you call your war zone, and here you were again. It's not exactly Provodnikov, but in the 12th round, you saw that was a brutal shot he landed. He had all his weight behind it, hit you on the button. Here's a replay.
I didn't go anywhere, though, baby. I was still there, and I was still alive, baby.
Well, you never do go anywhere, Tim.
Boom. Perfect shot. Overhand right. I didn't go down. Look at me. Look at my legs. How strong my legs are. I get back in position, spin out. I'm bagging up. I know where I'm at. I know exactly what I'm doing right now. Get my hands up. Here he comes, lands a body shot. I know where I'm at.
Are you aware that the fight's almost over, that the round's almost over at that point, or are you thinking, here we go again in one of these kind of dog fights here at StubHub?
I'm thinking, damn it, I didn't listen to my trainer again, and I ended up getting hurt. In the last round, he told me to pick and move, stick and move. I was winning the fight easily, and, I got lazy in there, got careless. He timed me with a perfect overhand right.
Congratulations on the win, Tim. I'm sure we'll see you soon.
5 time, baby. Hey.
Thank you so much. You're fine, no problem, man. You're fine.
All right? Keep your head high, baby. You're still a champion. You're still a champ, man.
Thank you, baby. But can I get a rematch, man?
Man, I told you. Man, talk to the people. Let's do it.
Thank you, man.
Jesse, we'll start at the end. We'll start at the end. When Pat Russell said, that's it, fight's over, what did you think?
Well, it was over. I mean, I heard something, and I hit him with a shot. I came up, capitalized with about 3-4 shots. He was about to break us up, but we were still in the clinch, so I still let my hands go, and he was still very wobbly, and then that's when he stopped the fight. But
do you think
the fight was still going on? It was only the 10-second mark.
Now, the fight was over really with 7 seconds left in the fight. Do you think in those 7 seconds you could have gotten Tim Bradley out of there? Another knockdown even doesn't win.
Out. Was he not out? All I needed was one shot, and that's what I was looking for. And Pat Russell came in. It was just an honest mistake on his part. I think we all acknowledge the fact that it was a mistake, but those 10 seconds cost me possibly the fight.
Okay, we had him up in the fight. The judges also had him up by a pretty wide margin in the fight. And throughout most of it, he seemed to take the initiative and keep the initiative in a competitive fight. Close competitive rounds early, but he was forcing the action. Finally, in the 12th, you hit him with that big shot. What took 11 rounds and like 45 seconds or whatever it was, 2 minutes and 45 seconds before you landed that shot?
You know what, Max? My corner was asking for that big right hand. They saw it coming. They must have. It was my mistake. I thought I was controlling with the jab. Every time he stepped in with the jab, I would catch him perfectly. I would see him that it would hurt him. It would buzz him. And he would catch me every now and then with a few jabs, but they weren't doing anything to me. You know, they weren't as strong as my jab, and that's what I felt was controlling it. But
in a rematch,
my right hand go.
You asked for a rematch quickly. In a rematch, do you start sooner?
We start off where we left off. In that last round, throw more punches, keep more active. You know, that would be the thing there.
Thanks, Jesse. Tough way to lose. Sensational end. Jim?
All right, thank you very much, Max Kellerman. Now we're at ringside with Andre Ward. Andre, one last time, what did you see happening here?
Toward the end of the fight, obviously, with 10 seconds left, Jesse landed a thunderous right hand. I don't know how Tim Bradley was able to stay up. Pat Russell made an honest mistake. There were 4 seconds left or 5 seconds left, as you see there. I believe Tim would have survived. We'll never know. But that being said, you got to give Jesse credit for landing the shot. You got to give Timothy Bradley credit for enduring the shot, and you just have to chalk it up as a mistake from Pat Russell tonight.
Could anybody have harder luck with his wins than Tim Bradley? I mean, he gets a win over Pacquiao, and everybody in the world, including me, protests the decision. He gets a win over Provodnikov, and Provodnikov protests the decision. He gets a win over Marquez, and Marquez protests the decision. He beats Chavez, and the judges call it a draw. He beats Vargas tonight, and now Vargas gets to talk about what happened in the last 10 seconds of the fight.
And Tim has to endure boos and everything like that after a great performance. I was thinking the same thing before you brought it up. It's just unfortunate. It just seems to be the way of Tim Bradley, where everything that he gets, everything that he's earned is the hard way. It's just the way that it is. But I think he responded the right way tonight. He said, I don't have to defend myself. I know what happened. And hey, Jesse, if you want a rematch, you can get that.
Yep, and I think we probably will see the rematch. Meanwhile, Max Kellerman, what do you have?
Well, first of all, about Tim Bradley, you're exactly right. Another kind of tough luck win for him.
Right.
And I doubt Jesse Vargas knocks him out with 7 seconds left. Even a knockdown doesn't win Vargas the fight. But if you indulge me for a second, I have something right now I need a second to talk about, Jim. 2 Sundays ago was a special day for me, Jim, so I can only imagine what it was like for you up in Canastota, New York, the Boxing Hall of Fame. First, a parade of champions through town, then the ceremony. Met all 10 of your wonderful relatives who came along with your lovely wife, Deborah, and everyone felt your induction was a long-deserved and well-earned honor.
And that's what it's all about. The people who have the courage to enter the ring. My eternal gratitude to all of them for bringing me here today. Thank you very much.
You made a great speech. Congratulations, Hall of Famer.
Thank you so much, Max, and thanks very much for making the trek to Canastota. That really made the day for
Wouldn't
me.
miss it.
I appreciate it. Meanwhile, we told you at the beginning of this telecast that we were bringing you the 1,000th and 1,001st boxing matches ever to have appeared on HBO.